Bakker the Naturopath. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Let's talk about mold, how you can detoxify from mold. It's incredible how many buildings in the United States suffer from mold. Okay, it's estimated like, I think 1 in 4, 1 in 5 have got some type of mold. It's the same here in New Zealand, and it's the same in many countries, where there's temperature and rainfall and humidity and things like that. Mold can be a seriously big problem. There are different types of mold. Black mold's one of the worst ones. But if you're in the States, the great thing is there are many experts over there that can definitely test for you. So what you really want to do is get the house tested for mold. And okay, there's different ways you can get that done. Air can be tested, swabs can be taken. You need to check in particular areas around where mold is a problem. Bathrooms, under sills, around windows and things like that. Ceiling spaces, and could be basements, and mold can be anywhere. So particularly if it's an older kind of a home. So the testing is very, very important. And it's the same with yourself. You need to get tested. There are special tests you can get done for mold. So that's a given. You need to get that done straight up if you think you've got a problem. So, but get someone out to the house to have a look at it is quite a smart move, and get that person to test for it. Once you've tested positive, you obviously need to get out of that house or decontaminate the house. Again, you need to work with expert people who will show you how to do that. Sodium hypochlorite or bleach will work quite well, but you probably need to vacate the place and get this done properly. All right, there are, as I said, expert people who will help you with this. Now, detoxifying the body is a little bit different. Testing is important, but you can get blood testing done. There are various tests to determine the type of mold, how bad it is, but I'd also recommend that you get a stool test done to see what's lurking in the gut, okay, as well as in the bloodstream or maybe on the skin surface. So you need to have 6 to 8 particular types of symptoms really to make us think it's a serious mold problem. It could be, you could think you've got an allergy, in fact, like a pollen or a seasonal allergy. It could be sneezing, could be itching. Sometimes I've found with mold patients, things can happen really quick. All of a sudden, within a span of 4 or 5 days, they can be terribly ill, almost hospitalization. So when something happens that rapid, I think mold straight away. Okay, mold can give unusual symptoms to people. Okay, dizziness, twitching, burning, stinging, numbness, tingling, all sorts of nervous and immune dysfunctions can come about. Overwhelming fatigue, blurry vision, brain fog, tiredness, insomnia, and of course the emotional lability. So being very angry or all over the place, high anxiety, high stress. These can all be signs of mold problems. Right? People who have got mold issues need to follow a candida diet. It's very important that you look and understand that, you need to look at the mold in your environment, of course, but also your inner environment, and work on that. There's no point drinking alcohol or having, man-made sugars or processed foods in your diet if you've got a mold problem. You've got to get an understanding of that. So I've certainly over the years had many people showing me test results on how contaminated the house was. And the first thing I said is, you've got to get the hell out of there. You can't stay in that house any longer. Now, in some cases that was possible, and in many cases, of course, it was impossible. So then the person, I would say, look, vacate to another room or get to another section of the house, and that area that's bad, that needs to be, really cleaned up before you can have access to that again. The component people don't look at with mold toxicity is stress, okay? Because it causes a lot of financial stress, it causes a lot of emotional, personal stress for people, and this is what needs to be looked at. Because those kind of stresses lower your immunity, which make you far more susceptible to getting even more problems from the mold. So once you understand that stress link, once you understand the testing part is, up the beginning, that's important, and then the dietary component. So follow the Candida diet I recommend on this channel. Okay, if you go look at my playlists, what constitutes a good Candida diet, then you're on the right track. All right, and that's all there is to it. It's not that difficult. Work with the right kind of people. All right, there's some really good people out there that have got a passion for mold and a big understanding of it. They're not one-trick ponies. Okay, they don't just focus only on mold, but they know mold. They know the signs and symptoms. They also know how to test you and the house and the environment. And but they may be a bit fudgy about the diet. They may have some weird ideas. Also, I should mention to you that our CanXida products work really well for people with mold. So here's the CanXida user guide now we've got, which is wonderful for people and explains how to use the products. The CanXida products have been used for a long time by people with mold issues, and we've had tremendously good feedback on that as well. And that's all I wanted to say today. So thanks for tuning in.